Literally a day before opening day, it seems like the 2024 free agency class is finally over. There's also some controversy around one of the biggest baseball sites online right now. What's going on, guys? It's the King of 161st Street, and welcome back to King's Speech. This isn't a Monday episode. Trust me, those will be coming more often while the season's on. Usually the series are from Friday or Saturday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Monday, I will be giving you the recaps of those series. Once the season starts, there will be a lot of content there. I also am probably going to start streaming live reaction to games, so stay on the lookout for that. But anyways, let's get right into it. Jordan Montgomery is finally off the board. He is now an Arizona Diamondback. Before I get into contract details, this is a huge move for Arizona. Arizona is in market is booming at the moment. I'm talking about people are moving there left and right. I'm hearing about people all the time moving to Arizona. That is a thriving market. Corbin Carroll and that young, hungry team behind Zach Gallen. Like I said, Corbin Carroll. Even the younger role player type guys like Geraldo Perdomo. These guys are building a culture over there of winning, making it to the World Series out of the wild card. And now they bring in another starter that could definitely get them over the hump this year. Jordan Montgomery is now an Arizona Diamondback, and it is a perfect fit. During the World Series, a lot of people had some questions, even though their pitchers were playing out of their minds at the moment, like Jordan Fott, or at least I think it's Jordan Fott. Fott is his last name. You had Zach Gallen, who was a little off his game. Overall, their pitching staff overachieved. Now they get another guy who has World Series experience, a good reputation in those big moments. This is huge for them. Gives them a little bit more insurance just in case Zach Gallen really isn't that guy come postseason time. I don't really believe that to be the case. I believe Zach Gallen could really be that guy. This does give them that insurance of, okay, if he's not, and once he comes to the postseason, he's not going to be the greatest pitcher ever, Jordan Montgomery is at least going to be behind him, along with some more depth pieces in that pitching staff. This is a great move to kind of double down the development of Corbin Carroll, the development on your young guys in that lineup. This is a perfect move for Arizona. Looking at the contract details, is a 1-year, $25 million deal with a vesting option for year 2. I think it's like an innings thing. If he plays the amount of innings, he gets another year at the same price. So really, if the vesting option goes through, it's a 2-year, $50 million deal. Scott Boras has had a very awful offseason for himself. I already talked about Scott Boras, not going to really go there again. Free agency is basically over. It's about time we talk about team construction, and that's where the Yankees come in, because with Garrett Cole's injury, lingering questions about the rotation, people thought that Jordan Montgomery would be part of the problem solving there, possibly mending that relationship. But it did just come out as they announced the Diamondbacks move, the Yankees were really nowhere near an agreement with him. They really only reached preliminary talks. I am not someone who thought, after a little bit of thinking about this, I did not think the Yankees were really going to be in on him. Because if you look at how things ended here, he was getting disrespected a little bit. He was getting to a point where the team was kind of disrespecting him on the way out. And now, when he finally proves them wrong, he's going to change his mind and come back. It just didn't seem right. I know the Yankees had an offer earlier in the offseason that was reported. I don't know if it's real or not, but it would have given him $80 million. This would give him at most $50 million. Don't know if he made the right choice, but if that is true, then that is unfortunate that he didn't take it. But again, it's not like it was the most expected thing that Jordan Montgomery would want to come back. In some ways, I kind of like the rotation we have. And I know this is going to shock a lot of people. On paper, it looks super thin. Right now, without Cole, Stroman, Rodon, Nestor, Clark, and Heel are all the guys who were named the starting rotation for the opening day roster. And we'll get to the roster in a little bit. But back to this, in some ways I kind of like it. Other than the Clark Schmidt fit, which, look, he has pitched very well in stretches, so maybe he can culminate things. If Rodon can be 50 to 70% better than what he was last year, if Nestor can sort of find himself like he has in spring, I really like where this rotation is, especially once Cole gets back. Because once Cole gets back, it's going to be Cole, Rodon, Stroman, Nestor, and then hopefully, if he does step up the way I think he will, it will be Luis Gil in that 5th spot. This rotation could be nasty, and it could be a very unexpected rotation. It seems like Stroman during the spring training, and I know spring training results don't always matter, but it seems like he's pitching with the most confidence he has ever pitched with in his career, maybe not including some of the years in Toronto, but especially these recent years from 30 on. This is probably the most confident I've seen a Marcus Stroman pitch. Luis Gil's talent is off the freaking charts. This kid is going to be something special. If he could put things together, he could be a really special piece. Like I said about Nestor, if he can find a way to get his stuff back, have life on that fastball, this rotation might actually be good enough to where we didn't need Jordan Montgomery. Would it have been nice to have a strong number 2 and a number 1 until Cole gets back? Yes. It would have given us some leeway here. In some ways, I am enjoying what I'm seeing out of these guys who are really in the rotation. And I know this is going to sound like Yankee shilling. I don't like the way the Yankees have the offseason and how they've handled multiple off seasons with the whole, well, we weren't able to get them. It's too much money. Luxury tax this, luxury tax that. I hate that. I'm just saying right here, I kind of knew Jordan Montgomery would not be a Yankee, and I kind of made my peace with that a long time ago. I think this move right here, again, him not being in the AL, huge. Him not being with Baltimore to make that rotation better, huge. Because Baltimore has even some rotation issues. They have a couple injuries to major rotation spots. Basically puts us on even playing field with them. Things are looking okay for the Yankees at the moment. And I don't think Jordan Montgomery really changes that. And that takes me to my next point. Not everyone actually thinks the Yankees are in a good spot, as Baseball Reference put out their prediction for the 2024 season and teams' records. Not only did they put the Yankees as the 5th place team by a landslide, by the way, in the AL East, they said our best case scenario is 82-80. They said our worst case scenario is 72-90. And they expect us to win 76 games. It's a joke what Baseball Reference put out. And to me, I think Baseball Reference lost all their credibility with. Because if you look at the roster we have, it's a better roster than last year's roster. And last year's roster went 82-80. And that was doomsday. That was worst case scenario. With all the injuries we had, we still went 82-80. Yet now this year, and I'm assuming their rationale for this is they're assuming Cole is not coming back this year. They're assuming that Nestor doesn't improve at all. They're expecting Rodon to even go further down the shitter. They're expecting Clark Schmidt to stay Clark Schmidt. They're expecting Luis Gil to look like a minor leaguer. And they're literally expecting everything to go wrong for the Yankees. Volpe doesn't develop. Juan Soto has his worst year and probably misses time for one reason or another. Judge misses time. They're expecting the worst case scenario no matter what. And that's even to get that average record that they expect, which is 76 wins. To me, it's asinine. It's bullshit. To see them put the Red Sox in 4th place, 7 games. What have the Red Sox done this offseason? They signed Tyler O'Neill. Hey, that would have been a cool signing back in 2021, back when he was actually a great player. They traded Chris Sale for Vaughn Grisham. Yeah, that's not gonna bode well for their rotation. Their only 2 hitters really right now are Rafael Devers and Tristan Casas. That's about it. Trevor Story's been in the shitter since he's been in Boston. They lost Justin Turner. There's a lot of things wrong with that Boston side. Their best pitcher right now is Brayan Bello, and then they have no one else. Absolutely no one else. Nick Pavetta's there. There's not much there. So I don't understand how the Yankees could trade for Juan Soto, trade for Alex Verdugo, sign Marcus Stroman, make this team balanced again. They think we're going to be the worst team in the American League East and probably one of the worst teams in the American League as a whole. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. Baseball Reference at this point, who is supposed to be a reputable source that even created their own stat, B-WAR, Baseball Reference WAR. That's their own stat. They're supposed to be statistically the most reliable source, and yet they come out with this bullshit. And I know this video right here could make me look like the biggest asshole on the entire internet, but I don't really give a fuck. That shit, I just gave you all the signings that we made. This team is now a balanced team where you can't really pitch a singular guy against us. Left, right, left, right, left, right. It's balanced across the board. You add doubles machine Alex Verdugo. You add one of the best hitters of this generation in Juan Soto. You add a very solid starter in Marcus Stroman. You're hopefully going to get a Nestor Cortez, who is a former All-Star. You have Carlos Rodon, who at one point in time was a guy who pitched to a 2.2 ERA. None of this matters. Only thing that matters is, oh, Cole is now out for 2 months. They really think we're going to lose every game until he comes back? Garrett Cole is not the only player on this team. And I know DJ LeMahieu went down, and we'll go through that in our next topic. This just comes down to bias and rage bait. And that's why I think Baseball Reference is losing their credibility. Because to me, I think they wanted Twitter to go up in a firestorm. They wanted people to make videos like this. You know what? They got the attention they wanted. To me, or at least in my opinion, this screws up all credibility that they have. It seems like in their minds, even though they're supposed to be one of the most credible sources in baseball for these types of things, they're more interested in clicks and reactions rather than giving people the real truth. In the meantime, F-War's better, Baseball Savant's better, and Baseball Reference has to make up for this shit. This ain't right. Let's go into our final topic. The Yankees opening day roster was released, and I'm going to go through some of the results. First, before we get into it, yes, Garrett Cole is not on this roster. Injured list players do not make it. And DJ LeMahieu, who has now had a bone bruise that's pretty fucking bad, he's out to start opening day. Here is what the roster will look like. All the players that you would expect to make the roster did make the roster, except for the 2 players I mentioned before. But also a few interesting points here. Luis Gil was officially named the 5 starter, like I brought up earlier, but also Clayton Beeter made the roster, and it looks like he'll be a multi-inning reliever out of the bullpen. And I love this decision from Aaron Boone. I love that he kept Clayton Beeter on the Major League roster, but I also love the decision he made between the 2 pitchers. To me, I believe the most upside comes with Luis Gil. Put him into that starting rotation, see if he could really be an X factor, a difference maker there. Keep Clayton Beeter, who was also pretty consistent, get 3 innings if Carlos Rodon has a 4-inning outing. A few innings, and he even brought up he could even be a setup guy if Loizica or Caleb Ferguson have been used over the past couple days. He may even use Clayton Beeter as a setup guy. I love this decision from Aaron Boone. To me, Clayton Beeter has good stuff, and he could be a really good pitcher out of that bullpen. I know I brought up that he's more of a jack of all trades, but I think that in some ways does work because all his pitches are pretty good. Giving hitters different looks going into him really makes his stuff stand out. If you're going from a Luis Gil who pitches 99 with a sick slider, now you go to Clayton Beeter and it slows down a little bit, but he's also got some better break. You're giving hitters different looks. You're fucking with their mind, and I love that. So great decision from Aaron Boone. They're also giving a few guys a little bit of an opportunity to make the roster. Oswaldo Cabrera has made the roster after a lot of people thought there's a chance he doesn't make the roster this go around. And also, they're giving an opportunity to a guy named Jahmai Jones. Jahmai Jones is a free agent that they signed. They're giving him an opportunity to ride the bench, see if he gets a few opportunities here. More of an injury reserve guy until some of our guys come back. I'm glad to see that a lesser known name is getting an opportunity on this roster. Maybe he does something with it, maybe he doesn't. Notable leave-offs, I didn't see Oswald Peraza on there. I didn't see a guy like Jeter Downs or anything like that. Everything is very rudimentary. Everything we expected going into this opening day, except for the two big injuries to our starters, DJ and Garrett. Other than that, everything's pretty rudimentary with the roster. Like I said before, I'm probably going to be streaming opening day, so hopefully you're there. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, leave a like down below. If you're new here, hit that sub button. Let's go Yankees. Opening day, let's prove everyone wrong. I'll see you guys on the other side. Take care and peace.